Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you've noticed that recently AI has been taking over everything. It's absolutely everywhere. It's taking over social media, and AI art can even be seen in streets promoting events in major cities. It seems like the defining technology and aesthetic of the 2020s, sadly, in my opinion. And I was thinking about a tweet I saw the other day, where this girl was saying that she used ChatGPT as a therapist, to the point where it even made her cry. And while searching for that tweet, I found this Reddit post. Now, this person was explaining how ChatGPT has become a useful tool in their lives, taking the role of a therapist, explaining the relief they felt after finally being able to vent to someone or something about all of their vulnerabilities, traumatic memories, and anxieties. Now, let me say off the bat, and please don't throw tomatoes through your screen and boo me, but I've used ChatGPT for the exact same thing, before I even knew that other people were as well. And let me just say that I can definitely see and understand how using it for that purpose can genuinely help people with their issues. For a machine, it responds with empathy, at least, seeming empathy, and understanding, providing useful advice and guidance. Even if it's just a program, to some people, this could definitely be useful and helpful in helping out with their mental health. I looked into it to see if there was a statistical trend of people using ChatGPT and other AI large language models for mental health assistance, and lo and behold, I found that there was. A recent survey by the nonprofit Centio Marriage and Family Therapy Program and Centio Counseling Center, a provider of low-fee online therapy for California and Washington residents, revealed that the largest provider of mental health services in the United States today might be ChatGPT, with 49% of people who both use a large language model like ChatGPT and have a mental health issue reported using AI as an alternative to therapy. Out of those who do use it, most report using it for assistance with anxiety and depression, with low self-esteem and relationship issues, stress, and many other reasons being up there. So yeah, whether or not these numbers can be truly representative of everybody in the country, as they only surveyed California and Washington residents, the fact remains that people are using ChatGPT as an alternative for therapy.
Your parents must have been very proud.
I think so.
And look at all the people like me you've helped. With all the human suffering in this world, you've done something important.
And the reasons people say that they chose to talk to AI were mainly because of its affordability and accessibility. Now, don't get me wrong. Other than the fact that the Atlantic Ocean is going to run dry to power all of this AI usage, I can see how this AI therapy can be a good thing. I mean, people on the survey, or people who had done AI therapy before, I guess, were saying how AI therapy helped them stop being suicidal. And that's great. I mean, if more people can access an easy, quick fix mental health service, then I think that's great. I mean, 75% of the respondents in the survey who used AI and a human therapist said that the AI was on par or better than the human therapist they worked with. But I can't help but feel like we should be concerned about this, especially due to the fact that our society is becoming increasingly more isolated, and the rise of AI being used as therapy correlates with the rise of loneliness and alienation in our society. Since 2003, the average time people spend alone each day has gone up from 285 minutes to 333 minutes by 2020. That's 48 extra minutes of isolation per day, adding up to 282 more hours alone each year, or 11 days. And while COVID made it worse, the trend started long before the pandemic. People are spending less time with each other. Isolation is known to cause mental health problems, so it should come to no surprise that alongside this increasing loneliness, the rate of mental health issues has increased as well. Add to this technological advances that make human interaction less required in daily life, and you'll end up with people who grow emotionally further apart every day. And I think technology is great, especially if used for health purposes, but when it comes to things like emotional and mental issues and support, I have to wonder how healthy it really is to speak to an AI program, especially in the long run, during a time of increasing social isolation. Yes, it seems to be a great tool that's helping people, and that's great in a vacuum. But the fact that so many people are using AI for emotional support, in my opinion, is just a testament to how alienated we are from each other in our modern era. But then I started thinking, and I'm like, man, What is the cause behind all of this? And of course, it's the usual fucking suspect: capitalism. See, at first glance, this alienation between people seems to be just something that happens naturally as society develops and grows in size. But that's not always the case. See, alienation is something that operates at the very core of the capitalist system and affects every aspect of our society. Alienation is not new. It's been baked into the system from the start, but the longer capitalism runs, the more intense and isolating it becomes. In Marxist terms, alienation means being disconnected from the work you do, from the things you create, and ultimately from yourself. What makes humans unique is our ability to imagine, build, and shape the world around us with creativity and intention. For most of human history, people played clear roles in their communities that gave them a sense of purpose and connection. Take a blacksmith, for example. In a pre-capitalist village, the blacksmith doesn't just have a job. He was the blacksmith. His work was visible, valued, and necessary. He made tools that people used every day. His identity among his community was tied to the impact of his labor. He mattered. But under capitalism, especially industrial capitalism, that same person becomes just a worker on an assembly line. He doesn't own the tools he works with, he doesn't decide what he makes, and he doesn't even see the finished product. He's easily replaceable. His labor becomes something to be bought and sold, not something that defines who he is. Now, this doesn't mean that people in the past had easier or better lives. In fact, the quality of life has obviously increased from fucking medieval times. But people in medieval times were more connected to their work, their community, and their identity. Today, it's much harder to feel like you matter when society treats you like a simple cog in a machine. When you're seen as disposable, it's hard not to feel disconnected from everything, your community, and yourself. And it's even worse when you realize that capitalism rewards individualism and selfishness and punishes kindness, with the most successful people in the world being selfish, narcissistic psychopaths who would sell you for a profit if they could. And the thing is, these people, these oligarchs, these ultra powerful capitalists are evil, sure, but they're evil because in order to be as rich and powerful as they are, you have to be. Whether that means extensive union busting or monopolizing industries, buying elections, spreading hatred and bigotry, and overall just exploiting people en masse and ruthlessly crushing the competition that capitalism is supposed to promise, you have to be willing to do any sort of unethical thing at any moment to reach the upper echelons of capitalist society. I mean, think about it. It's the reason why almost every powerful person has an absolute lack of ethics, consistently. It's not an accident, it's by design. To stay in power and protect capital, all morals are thrown out the window. As Elon Musk said himself,
The fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy.
To put it simply and summarize it, capitalism places the most successful capitalists in the most powerful and influential positions of society. And to become one of the most successful capitalists in society, you have to become a selfish, self-absorbed asshole. I mean, I don't really care how anybody puts it. There's no way around that. The message here is clear. Selfishness is ultimately good. Acting in ways that boost yourself to the top while hurting others may be condemned on a smaller scale, but on a large scale, it lands you borderline unlimited power and financial freedom, and really just freedom to do whatever you want in general. I mean, billionaires break laws all the time and nothing really happens to them. And here's the thing. When a society rewards this behavior at the highest level, the mindset trickles down to us regular broke boys, you could say, and it makes that selfish individualism of the ruling class the dominant culture, when the most shining examples of success in society are people who step on others and exploit whoever to get ahead. Eventually, everyone starts to internalize the message to look out for yourself, trust no one, and keep your problems to yourself. Vulnerability becomes weakness. Asking for help becomes shameful, and so we stop talking to each other as much. We stop confiding in our friends, our family, our neighbors, because we're taught to compete with each other, not to connect and cooperate. The result of this is a society with isolated people who struggle to build meaningful relationships, where people don't communicate their feelings toward one another, one where people are quick to judge and are poorly equipped to deal with the emotional baggage of their fellow friends, families, and loved ones in general. It's how the whole pull up your bootstraps ideology has stuck around for so long, and it's why we see things like the manosphere, Men who blame their loneliness, discontent with the system, and lack of power on women, woke ideology, gay people, or whatever, instead of capitalism keeping them poor, because ultimately their goal is to become like those successful capitalists. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that selfishness, isolationism, and just overall antisocial qualities are baked into the capitalist system, but especially in a country like the United States, where all the negative qualities of capitalism are tuned up to a almost satirical amount, honestly. It's almost like community is demonized here. It's really no wonder why we have such higher suicide rates than other developed nations. With all that being said, it's really no surprise that people are turning to the free app on their phone that will respond to their grievances without the pressures of social interaction and without judgment. Not to mention, it's literally accessible at all times. You don't have to go out of your way to use it. But like I said earlier, I have to wonder about how good of a thing this can be. Because while it may be effective at helping people for now, is it really the healthiest option? I don't know if the best way for a population experiencing crippling loneliness and alienation to vent about their issues and receive help is through an artificial machine. Not to sound like an anarcho-primitive Unabomber fan or anything, but do we really need more people retreating to their rooms to speak to an AI about their problems? I feel like that may further isolate us from one another. What we need more than ever, in my opinion, is to facilitate human interactions, including expanding human mental health services so that anyone with a mental health problem can access it. How could all this be achieved? Well, my answer is to obviously overthrow this dirty, rotten capitalist system and give people some dignity, replacing our greedy, selfish society with a more community-based one where resources are allocated to those who need it and help is given because people are people and they deserve to be helped. But since I know if anyone ever tried that, they'd get shot by a space laser in the middle of the night and have their death declared a suicide, there are other things that can be done in the meantime. We don't even need a full-on revolution for this. Besides the obvious, provide better mental health services at the human level, we could also do things like build more walkable cities. And I'm not just saying that to be in a Not Just Bikes video. Walkable cities have been shown to produce a happier population, less prone to mental illness. And it makes sense. More human interaction is good for us. We are social animals. And in walkable cities, you have more time to be social. You get to look around, have a chat with your local grocery store owner. You can get to know them and become regulars. I was in Europe for about a month, and I felt like an alien in another planet. Just wow. People are actually walking around here and talking to each other? No fucking way. It's much harder to do that, to be social here, than here. Now, for everyone in Houston, I'm not trying to diss you. I'm just saying, you can't walk your cities. That shit is disgusting. Your city is half of it is a parking lot. What the fuck is going on? How are you supposed to be happy and social in a place like this? I just don't understand. Also, for the love of God, can we please start allowing people to work less hours and less days and allow them to spend more time with friends and family? Also, we as a society need to collectively start completely dismantling that whole grind set glorification. Please, for the love of God, can we start glorifying having a beer with our friends on a Saturday or fucking smoking a cigarette in the middle of the park with your homeboy in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon? Can we please just start being human again? That's all I want, man. I just remembered this shit I saw the other day, bro. Nah, we desperately need to facilitate human interaction, because what is this? Anyway, the point of this video wasn't to criticize you or ridicule you for using ChatGPT as therapy. Like I said, I've used it before. And I know I'm gonna sound like a massive hypocrite, but I don't advocate for the use of ChatGPT or AI. Do what I say, don't do what I do, okay? If you feel like you must use it to receive help, then by all means, sure, please use it. I'd rather you receive mental help than fucking take some sort of moral high ground. You know what I mean? But before you do that, I'd recommend talking to a trusted friend or family member, or maybe getting some affordable mental health help if you can. Remember, at the end of the day, AI can only give you programmed advice and simulate empathy, but only other people can provide you with warm and genuine emotional support. And at the end of the day, that's all we really need. I love you guys, stay safe, and remember to always be kind to everyone, unless they're not kind to you. Peace out.